What is going on, YouTube? It is the real Kevin Ellis. Today I'm going to make a quick video about AIT at Fort Gordon. If you are at Fort Gordon, or maybe you're on the bus to Fort Gordon, or maybe you're at Fort Jackson or Fort Leonard Wood and you're going to be going to Fort Gordon in a week or two, this video is for you. I just want to talk about some of the things that I kind of wish I knew about Fort Gordon before going. I'm going to talk about things that surprised me, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it because I don't want to make a real long video. I got my assistant here with me. He's gonna help give me some ideas. So the first thing I wrote down here. Give me a second. The first thing I wrote down is smoking. So here, I didn't know that you can smoke there. So I left Fort Jackson basic training thinking it's a sticker. I left Fort Jackson thinking that, you know what, we're going to be on lockdown, it's going to be real hard. And the first day I get there, they're giving us a tour. They're like, oh, and if you want to smoke a cigarette, you can smoke underneath that tree. Now, I stopped smoking cigarettes, actually, in a week, it'll be 5 years. But people smoke, and you can smoke Black & Milds or cigars. And here's the thing, you cannot smoke vapes. So yes, you can smoke cigarettes, but no, you cannot smoke vapes or electric cigarettes, which I thought that's interesting. I think it's a legal thing. Moving on, how many do I got? 1, 2, 3. I got 6 items. So number 2 is going to be, you're allowed to leave and do whatever you want. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, you can leave and do whatever you want. Yes, once you get phase 5+, and I have another video if you go back about the phases at AIT. It's not too hard to get 5+. Once you get 5+, you can leave and do whatever you want within reason. Now, obviously, you're not supposed to go drink. You're not supposed to go rent cars. You're not supposed to go, hook up with your battle buddies in the hotel, right? But you can do whatever you want if you're picking up what I'm putting down. They expect you to leave and go to Waffle House and come back. That's what I did. But you can go to Atlanta if you want. You know what I mean? Like, that's an hour and a half drive. You have to be back by 2000, I believe. Or every company is different. My company was 2000. And I think our commander was talking about letting us stay overnights and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. Because again, leaving basic training, I'm thinking, oh, we're going to be back in prison, right? Because it's basically a prison. But no, you get a little bit of freedom if you do the right thing and phase up. Number 3 on this list is, there's a cafe. I don't remember what it was called. But it's like a chill and get food cafe. You can't drink, obviously, but you can go get a hamburger, some wings, go watch a movie, go play some Xbox. You can go shoot some pool. It's a real low-key spot. And it was actually a lot of fun. It reminded me of college, you know what I mean? Like, just like at Post University in Waterbury, we had the Eagles Nest. And we would go and, play pool and table tennis. He's showing you his tongue, guys. Anyways, so yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And again, that's not something you can do off the rip. But once you phase up, I want to say once you get phase 5, you're allowed to go to the cafe. And, the wings are better than the DFAC sometimes. And that's a side one I didn't even write. But you get DFACs 3 times a day. There's no MREs. I guess maybe if you're in the field, which we never were, or maybe if you missed DFAC, you can get an MRE, but yeah, you eat at the MRE 3 times. You eat at the DFAC 3 times a day, and it's funny because at basic training, we were so interested. Oh, we're gonna get to go to the DFAC. Yeah, finally, I don't want an MRE. Or when they took the MREs out, we used to be like, oh, not another MRE. And then you get to AIT at Fort Gordon, and you're like, oh, I don't want the DFAC, man. I gotta go get some wings. I gotta go get some Domino's. I want to go to the cafe because I don't want the defect again. So that's a 2-part. I'm talking about the cafe and talking about how you actually get tired of the defect. Number 4, holdunders, and I guess I'll briefly talk about holdovers too. A holdover is when you get to AIT and there's not enough people in your class to start it, so you basically wait, and you can't. You're basically just waiting for your class to start. So if you're supposed to be at AIT for 10 weeks, but you're a holdover for 3 weeks, well, guess what? You're going to be there for 13 weeks. So that's pretty funny. And a hold under, excuse me, that's a hold under. A hold over is when somebody screws up and they get stuck there. So they're supposed to be there for 10 weeks or 20 weeks, and they get caught smoking vapes, or they get caught hooking up with a battle buddy, or they get caught with the alcohol. Now all of a sudden they're getting an Article 15, and they're stuck. They're stuck at AIT for an additional 3 months, 6 months. That surprised me. And these guys, if you can imagine how unhappy you would be being stuck at a place, not doing anything, just because you made a bad decision. So that kind of surprised me. That's the hold under, hold over situation. Unorganized. I put unorganized. Kind of like my video. You know, I didn't expect my son to go quietly play in the kitchen, but here we are. I thought that AIT was going to, like, basic training was seemingly organized, even though in reality, if they didn't have anything for you to do, they would just smoke you, right? That's what most of our perception was. AIT, you realize that, you know, you think the Army structure is like, oh, like militant, and it's like the government and blah, blah, blah. But it's really just a bunch of people doing the best they can. And sometimes they come up short from being perfectly organized. I won't jump into too many details because I don't want to talk crap about the Army. But no, but that was that was something that I was not expecting. I expected to just show up, and they're not going to forget me. They're not going to forget to do my paperwork. They're not going to forget that they said this. They're not going to not do that. But no, it's like any other job. It's just people. And when you're just working with people, there's a big room for human error, you know, military or not, sergeant major or not, you know. So that was my deal. I thought, hey man, I'm going to get to AIT and it's going to be a really structured program. And then you get there and it's like, man, oh, they don't know that we don't have bed sheets, or they don't know that we're, you know, people showed up for night class and it's actually, they're supposed to be day class. And oh, these people are supposed to graduate tomorrow, but people didn't do their paperwork in time, so now they got to stay an extra week. So a lot of stuff like that happens. And I guess that's the Army in general. I don't know that that's exactly Fort Gordon, but Fort Gordon is my first experience with the Army out of basic training, so I'm going to talk about it. Oh, and then my last one up here, I put that the weather's not so bad because, you know, they talk about it like, oh, it's so hot in Georgia, and yes, stay hydrated, guys. I'm not saying don't drink water and don't hydrate. But, you know, if you got the message that, oh, Fort Gordon is going to be so hot and it's just going to be miserable and you might as well just be in the sun, it's not that bad. It's like, I mean, I was there in the summertime. It wasn't anything more. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not from California, but maybe it's because I'm living in California now. That the sun didn't really impress me. You know, it didn't make me want to write home and say, oh, it's so hot here. So if that's what you're thinking, then relax a little bit and just know that it's really not, it's like any other place that's hot. You know, it's not like you're in the middle of the desert and you're going to burn up. I would argue that the valley, that the San Fernando Valley is hotter than Fort Gordon, Georgia. I'm wondering if there's anything else I can share with you guys. Drill sergeants are cool, I guess. I will share that being back from AIT, I did a lot of the stuff that I learned as a 25 Quebec actually translates to what I do. For example, well, I'm not going to talk about what we work on because, again, I don't want to, jeopardize my security clearance or whatever. But whatever equipment you're going to learn how to work on as a 25 Quebec or a 25 Hotel or a 25 Sierra, you are absolutely going to be, well, again, I'll speak from my experience. But whatever they taught me, I'm actually learning and using in my Army unit now. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, people are cool. I don't know. That's about it. I'll probably make another video if I come up with some more stuff. But I just wanted to shout out to all my Signal Corps people. And I guess I'll end it with that. I went to basic training knowing that I was going to be an American soldier, right? I learned the soldier's creed and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't even realize that the Signal Corps is actually like its own, it's like a subsidiary, right? It's obviously still the U.S. Army, But Signal Corps, it's just like there's a medical corps, there's a military police corps, but the Signal Corps is the thing. There's a whole Signal Corps march. It's like a song, you know. So when you graduate from Fort Gordon at AIT at Fort Gordon, you actually join like another subsidiary branch of the United States Army, which is the Army Signal Corps, which I thought was kind of cool. I have license plate that say U.S. Army Signal Corps. Not license plate, but the license plate holder. Anyways, that's all I got. And you see, like a real American soldier, I got my sugar-free cough drops. So I'll catch you all on the next one. Cool.